Hey, everybody. Good morning and welcome to Regina Rowley's website. My name is Regina Rowley, and I have a blog post that I am in the midst of writing, and I thought I would hit pause real quick and just come and bring it to you live. Many times it helps to actually see and hear it live versus just reading it. So here we are. I've been thinking a lot about the stories that we tell ourselves, the stories that are on repeat in our head. I do a lot of reading for personal development, and there are a number of books I've read on this topic. But I felt compelled to bring one out again over the recent days, and so I did. And as I was perusing the pages, realized some of the content I had highlighted and I make notes in my books was still very relevant for me today. Maybe not that I needed to apply it as much because I've already begun to make more of it my personal. I mean, it's just part of my daily activity, right? It's not as much of an effort. But for my friends that are still looking for the answers and still trying to implement that shift in the mind, this information was relevant. And so I wanted to bring it to you today. So thank you for pausing to watch it. So I made some notes. I'm just going to keep close by, so try to keep me on track and to honor your time so that I don't get long-winded. We can keep this concise with the information I wanted to share. So I came to realize once again that one of the stories that I had on repeat in most of my life came from a childhood in which it was a very critical childhood. And so, for instance, I was a good student and I studied hard for my grades. I enjoyed learning. But sometimes my efforts still did not give me that A on the project or on the test or on the report card. And if it wasn't an A or A plus or whatever highest mark was available, then it wasn't good enough. And there would be criticism to follow. Or if I was told to do something and I made my best effort and I did what I thought I could do, and if it didn't measure up to the standard, to the expectation, there would be criticism. So I learned early on the importance of self-preservation, and I figured out how to strategize and do the best I could to minimize how often I was the target of that criticism. Now, this was a survival mechanism. There wasn't anything I could have done different than I did. I know that now, but I didn't know that then. And the environment in which we grow up that's our circle of it's what we know, right? So if that circle doesn't feel safe and we're too young to know any different or to do anything different, then we have to figure out how to survive in that environment that we're in. And that's all I was doing. What I didn't realize is that I was continuing to carry that story with me decades later. And I did so for over 40 years. I always felt like I had to be flawless. I'm not flawless, and neither are you or anybody else. But that was the mindset that all of my decisions came from, is I had to be flawless and I had to keep myself safe because nobody else was going to do it for me. And that it served me well for that season, but I don't need it. I've outgrown that. And so learning that I can replace that story has been very pivotal in my healing forward journey. So I wanted to share with you a few of the ways that I have started that shift. And I've been on this journey for a number of years now. And then for you to be able to figure out some of these pieces may work for you. Some of them, maybe they guide you into a better direction. There's a better option for you than what I'm offering you, but at least it gets you moving in that direction. So your journey can move you forward and help you to heal and let go of those stories that are no longer beneficial. So here are some things that I have learned to do in my shift, in the restriction, letting go of that restricted mindset. I laugh at myself. I laugh at myself. I laugh at my errors. Nothing that's serious, right? I'm talking about, I flubbed my words. I tripped. There's a piece of toilet paper hanging from my shoe when I left the restroom. That kind of thing, right? Laugh it off. Don't feel the shame or the embarrassment from it, which is what I used to do. I used to feel that shame and carry it. Another thing that I've done is I am grateful, grateful, grateful. Just always looking for what I can be grateful for or about, even in the most trying times. I'm not perfect with that, but I am getting better at it. Instead of looking for what is missing, what I should have done different, I look for being grateful. All right, I take more risks. I live with intention. I live toward my dreams. In the past, I would have felt that was taking a risk was unsafe because I could make a mistake. I would make a mistake, and that would mean I wasn't flawless. And see that crazy thinking? I know I'm not the only one who thinks that way, though. So I feel really comfortable sharing this with you because it's so freeing to let that stuff go. Each of those little decisions that I was making were holding me back, keeping me hostage, keeping me bound to the past. And I don't want to live that way anymore. And I've been very intentional in letting that stuff go. And I really do choose to savor life's moments more and more instead of being controlled by the clock and by trying to get everything done. I don't get everything done. I don't keep a spotless house like I once did. My dreams, my aspirations, my desire to be the change I want to see in the world, those are more pressing. And so if it means not cleaning the house so I have a day to go and play with my grandson, I'm going to go play with my grandson and we're going to laugh and we're going to enjoy that time together. That's the message I want to convey to you through this. So here are some things that maybe you'd like to take a look at. Maybe you can try these things on so that you too can enjoy a more confident, playful, generous life like I'm enjoying. So we can start to ask ourselves, what is my top story? What is the one story I tell myself again and again? Now, you may need to find some stillness and really ponder this, or it might come to you right away. You might already be on your radar. Whatever it is, take the time you need, figure it out, write it down. Once you have that, then ask yourself, how am I keeping this story alive? I'm keeping it alive with my thoughts, my actions, my attitudes, the way of life I'm choosing. What am I doing that's keeping it alive? How can I understand that? Then, when you have that understanding, you can ask yourself, you can be curious, you can look for ways to upgrade it because it's that awareness that allows us to begin to shift and to let it go. We can't change something we're not aware of. So that's what we want to do is make that shift. So if you have a thought on something and then you start to feel ashamed, you feel guilty, maybe you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, or you begin to notice that you numb out. Life is crazy. It's stressful. It's been difficult day. Maybe you've had a really difficult day or a season, several days in a row, and you find yourself repeatedly coming home and numbing out, either with whatever you're just hitting to watch on the TV or on Netflix, or with food, with alcohol, with substances, with stuff, shopping, whatever. Sometimes we just stay busy, 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 so we can't be still long enough to figure out what that is. So pause and figure out what it is that you're doing to avoid your story. And then prioritize taking care of yourself. Maybe you always take care of others and you neglect yourself. That's another way of being hostage to an old story. And one of the biggest ones is that we go into shallow chest breathing. We keep the breath right here. We don't take it deep down into the belly. We take that inhale and it stops right here. And then the next thing you know, we've got these tight shoulders and neck, and there's a lot of tension, and we're just not letting it go. So once you start recognizing these signs, here are some things that maybe you'd like to incorporate. First of all, come into a deep belly breath. Lengthen your spine, open the shoulders, and draw that breath deep down into the lower belly. Maybe hold it for a moment. And then as you exhale, let it slowly trickle out. See if you can make the long haul even longer than the inhale. You don't have to count it, but you can if you want to. Just feel that breath. And do that as long as you need to start feeling the body soften and to release that tension and to release the negative story. Other things, take note of what you are choosing to be responsible for. Sometimes we take on responsibilities that aren't ours to take. Let them go. Be grateful every day. Every day, all day, in all situations, as often as you can. You don't have to verbalize it, you can just think it. But maybe it's a good idea to jot a few of them down. Release limiting thoughts. Once you start to realize those stories and how they limit you or how they are negative, let them go. Relinquish them. As you let go of an exhale, when that breath comes up and you let it go, you've now made room for the next inhale, for that next life-giving breath, the positive, the healthy, the good. Same thing with our thoughts. When we let go of the negative, we have made room for the positive, the healthy. All right, and then extend love and grace toward yourself. It's not an overnight fix. We come back to it again and again. And as we learn to extend love and grace to ourselves, we can then extend love and grace to others more readily. And all in all, it just creates a more peaceful environment for us inside in our own beings and definitely within our minds. So one of the things I'll leave with you is that this isn't a journey I've accomplished on my own, and I still don't do it on my own. So I encourage you to seek out a healthy support system. Get there'll be a place here on the website for you to contact me and to reach out for more information on our different programs, and or if you'd like to make a appointment where we can chat about what you're looking for, and I can guide you in that direction. Thanks so much for taking a moment to hit pause and share some time with me and listen. I apologize, this got to be a little more long than I had anticipated, but I hope it resonates with you. And again, remember, your story continues. You get to choose the ending. Namaste.